Okay, here's part 2. I showed before how I took the laundry bag, made a seam down the middle, put in the locks intact, and what I do is I grab a handful, I'm trying to think, just lay the fleece out, and grab a handful of, don't like my arm, okay, a handful of fleece with the lock still intact, and I might go like this, see if there's any vegetation or anything to shake off, and then I set it inside the bag. This bag's already full, so I'll do that later. The seam only goes up to about 1 inch from the zipper, and then I can close the zipper. So it's like that. And then it is ready, and I'll have several of these. I usually put about 6 or 8 inside the wash machine to soak at a time. And that works really well. Yeah, so let me see if there's a question. If there's a question, you know how I love questions. Okay, so here you go. Here's my bag sewn up the center, just a big stitch, and I just backed once at the end, once in the beginning. So if I want to rip it out, it's not a hard thing to do. Okay, so I just take a handful. This is the this is in honor of Bren and all lazy people out there. I guess it's not lazy, but definitely not as meticulous as Bren. And I've accepted that about me. It's okay. So what I do is just take pretty fleece, huh? That's accurate color. I'm going to over dye some just to see how that works. So I'm just getting it. It's all washed up so then I could play. What I might do is, you know, do a bobbin of singles of this and then a bobbin of it dyed, and then just compare notes. And the glorious thing, if you don't like something, you dye over it. And I don't have any black yarn yet. So I have black yarn from my black animals, but not from the need to keep over dyeing. Thing is, what everybody should know is that if the wool will only hold, or fiber, any fiber, will only hold so much dye. So if you were to have your fleece totally, I'm showing as I'm going, totally saturated with red, whereas there's still some left in the dye pot and it won't exhaust anymore. There is no amount of vinegar or citric acid or voodoo that will cause it to absorb more. If you have, you know what, I have a dye pot that's starting to simmer. If you have, if it is totally saturated, if you've done everything right and it is totally saturated, it is not going to absorb more. So if you don't like the red that you ended up with, or the green, or whatever, you are not going to be able to turn it into black yarn. Embrace it and maybe do something else and make a cabled yarn. And I have cabled yarns for that very reason. But once it absorbs all the color, it can only absorb so much. So there you go. I've got about 8 of these done. I'm going to go put them in the washer to soak for an hour. First soak, I'm just doing it on warm, and then I'll go take it to my other washing machine where my grandkids don't bathe out of that hot water heater, and I've got that set up to 160. In the house, everything's 120 for safety reasons. So there you go. Bye-bye.